number one, I'm really aligned to work with somebody like that because that's me, and I value that in a human being. But number two, working with somebody like that it makes it very easy to win. Why? Because that person takes action.
There's never a time where you couldn't learn more, or you couldn't exercise more effectively, or you couldn't, love on your family more, or there's never going to be a time it's never all done. No matter whether you're an entrepreneur or not, it's never all done. There's always something you could be doing to be more productive, even if that means R&R.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode number 1261. What kind of friend do you really want to be? Today, for episode number 1262, there is a big difference between awareness and action, aka it doesn't matter without action. Pretty much is what we're talking about today. So for some reason, Alan, my camera has moved. I'll do it after. Okay, I was on a coaching call. It was actually a consulting call with somebody the other day. And the second time I've talked to this person. So I talked to them on a podcast breakthrough session. They said, hey, I love what you're doing. I'd love to learn from you. How much does it cost to consult with you? And I said, this is the price. Cool, I'm in. Awesome. Book the call, get it all scheduled. So when I log on, I said, all right, did you bring the stuff that we decided we were going to talk about today? So make sure you have your login to this. Let's look at these stats. Let's go through all this stuff. And this guy, his name is Danny, awesome dude. He said, all right, so let me just tell you a little bit about me, Kev. I am somebody who I'm really good at taking action, but oftentimes it's a lack of awareness that gets me stuck, and then I just get stuck in my head and I just run these loops. So I'd like to leave after this call with 3 to 5 action items that I can practice and I will complete before the next time we talk. And I was like, Danny, you are speaking my language, brother. I'm the same exact way. I love action. I love tactics. I'll make sure I add deeper understanding so you actually know what we're talking about, but I will make sure you leave here with some action items. And I had this moment. Number one, I'm really aligned to work with somebody like that because that's me, and I value that in a human being. But number two, working with somebody like that it makes it very easy to win. Why? Because that person takes action. So there's a huge difference between getting a piece of awareness and then taking action. And we call that the awareness implementation gap. So I wanted to share that with the listeners. There are some people who will get a large piece of awareness and they don't take any action. It doesn't change their behavior at all. It doesn't change their habits. It doesn't change their goals. It doesn't change their intentions. There are other people out there, the second they get a new piece of awareness, they literally say, okay, now that I am made aware of this, I need to take action. This is the key that I've been waiting for to unlock the lock that I have been trying to pick for the last however long, or this is going to get me to the next level where I'm going to have to find another awareness. So the question really to think about during this episode is, how do you fare when it comes to the awareness implementation gap?
How do you fare?
How do you fare? What do you glean? What did you glean from what I
What
said?
did you glean?
That is a word
from
Alan
that?
says. Let me try to adjust this camera here.
I kid you not, right before this episode, Kevin has no idea that I'm going to tell this story, but right before this episode, Kevin and I forget what I was doing. I think I was taking notes or something, looking up stats. And you were looking at different date ideas for Taryn this Sunday. Okay, your wife Taryn. So, and I mentioned a client of mine who is starting a business in the UK about date ideas that get shipped, like little date boxes that essentially get shipped to your door. So you go on their website.
Great idea.
And,
great idea.
Yeah, great idea. It's a monthly membership. So you go to their website and it's date boxes. So once a month, you're going to have a date night where, there's, painting and clay. Clay was a really good one from the movie Ghost. You remember the clay scene?
Never seen Ghost, but I have, of course, I've seen the scene.
Clay scene. Okay. Seen the scene. Mm-hmm. So anyways, Kevin was like, you know what though? If they were in the US, I don't know if I'd invest in them if I was in Shark Tank.
How dare you? I said that to you in confidence.
I know.
Wow.
But here's why. Because there's a bunch of those already in the US, I guess, or whatever. And so I said, no, Kev, if you knew this person, if you knew this entrepreneur, you would invest in them. And here's why. I said he has, I think, 27 habits that he tracks every single day, and the dude never misses. He is awesome. And again, to this point of this episode, there's a big difference between awareness and action. This is one of my clients who I consider Navy SEAL level. They just implement. They are very, very, very intense and committed to their goals and to their dreams. And so I told Kev, you might not invest in the idea, but I'm telling you, you would definitely invest in the entrepreneur if you knew this entrepreneur. So I'm rooting for you. That does not mean Kevin is not. Do not worry.
I was going to say, I do believe in you if you are listening to this. It was just, I like to watch Shark Tank, and I was like, I was saying some cool stuff that I know about business, so I felt pretty good about myself there for a short time.
And on Shark Tank, they're like, I have to be in or I have to be out. But here's the point. His implementation awareness gap is very, very small. In other words, when he learns something, he implements. He learns, he implements. He learns, he implements. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Kev in the beginning versus Kev now, because this is a challenge that we all face as we get older and wiser. So in the beginning, Kev didn't know what to do. So he was just like, tell me what to do and I'll do it. And immediately we would say, okay, we need teaser clips. Okay, Kev, go work on a teaser clip. Great. Okay, we need to post on social media. Okay, post on social media. Now it's gotten to the point in our business where the awareness of what to do is far greater than the amount of things Kevin actually can do in a given day. So Kev, can you talk to us a little bit about what this gap was like in the beginning versus now?
Yeah, in the beginning it was awesome because so even to Alan's point, I remember seeing teaser clips. So all that, like if you follow us on social media, it's the videos that you see of Alan and I hopefully dropping some fire, and there's cutscenes and music. Shout out to our amazing team, AA, for doing it. So I saw some on social media, and I said, Alan, we need those. I mean, if we're going to grow the podcast, if we're going to be successful, we have to look successful, right? That's going to be an important part. What do I do? And Alan said, well, I have a little bit of experience in this program called Adobe Premiere. Download it, and then you'll be off to the races. You'll figure it out. And I had the time. It took me 16 hours, and it was a whole thing. It took me a long time to make a 1-minute teaser clip, but I had the time to do that. So back in the day, it was, okay, cool. We need a backdrop. Kevin will research what we need for a backdrop. Awesome, right? I got us green screens. I got us a bunch of other stuff.
Oh,
cool.
The green screen debacle of 2020.
Brutal.
Or was that 2019? It was brutal.
That was 2019, yeah. Yeah, we tried that for one episode.
Move.
A rookie move. Or we need new cameras. Okay, let Kevin... That's what it was. It was.
You remember we bought those Amazon Choice?
We bought. I think they were like $700 each, and I think we got 2 of them on Amazon, and we returned them immediately after opening them because they were no way. Either
Not
that
good.
or we just didn't know what we were doing. Either of those was possible. But I had the time. I had more time. Where now, and this is the interesting thing, I still do this, but I try to do it far more intentionally, and I try to think of it before I do it. All I mean by that is this. Alan and I were talking today, and we were talking about finances, and we were talking about all this stuff. And I was like, Taryn had a really good idea. Taryn suggested we buy a bidet. And if you don't know what a bidet is, I don't really know exactly how to explain it, but just Google it. It's bathroom related, and it's good for you. And she's like, well, number one, we'll save money and we'll help the environment. She said, that's a huge win, right? Like, why not do that? And I was like, all right, cool. While I was on with Alan, I ordered it because we talked about it, and he's like, yeah, man, if it's going to save money for the business, cool. Let me know how it works. And it went on my to-do list. And then 3 minutes later, when he was like, all right, this is your to-do list, I was like, that's already done. And he's like, all right, what about the other thing? I was like, I just did that too. So if I am on a meeting, I tend to just get a piece of awareness and then completely lose sight of the meeting and then go do tasks, which can be a bad thing. But it can also be a really good thing. I've noticed that about myself where...
But that's when I'm running the meeting, too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's the
I'm
cool
listening.
thing, is it? Yeah,
I'm still listening. I'm not as present as I could be. But I told Taryn that yesterday. This is how I am. Taryn told me about the bidet, and I'm talking about the bidet a lot. Like, we're getting a bidet. I looked at the YouTube video, and I started watching the YouTube video. And then I just like slowly find myself moseying over to the toilet to see what kind of toilet it is. And then like I'm looking around to see like what kind of connection do I need? Like, do I need to order anything from Home Depot? The second I'm made aware of something, I start to strategize. What do I do to make this happen? And that's just the way I'm wired. But I think that's super helpful because the second I'm made aware, I start to try to improve it. And then it's like, all right, cool. Let me get this done. Let me check off the box. That's a good representation of messy action. It's almost like you need the right amount of awareness to take the right amount of required action to get a baseline result. And then after you get that result, you have a new awareness of what happened when you did it, and you can take another action. And I think that's kind of just improvement as you go. But it starts with messy action.
Hi, my name's John Laurito, and I just wanted to give a big shout out to Kevin Palmieri. I had reached out to him. He had been referred to me when I had shared with a friend of mine some interest in doing a podcast, and he said, you've got to use Kevin. He's fantastic. He's the best around. He'll get you started and off the ground and soaring high in no time. And take it from somebody who knows nothing about podcasting other than maybe saying a few things. But as far as behind the scenes, the startup, everything, I knew nothing. Kevin was phenomenal in terms of leading me through the whole process, and not just easy to work with, but really, really knows his stuff. A great combination between leading me through all the stuff I had no idea what I was doing, but also really listening to me and understanding what it was I was trying to accomplish and what my vision is. So whether you're looking for somebody to help you and get you started, or somebody, as I've done, where I'm putting it entirely in his hands because I've got total trust and confidence in him, and he is a true pro and easy to work with, any of those ends of the spectrum, you're gonna have a lot of success and a lot of fun working with Kevin. Trust me. Thanks.
At NLU, we talk momentum over everything. If the NLU team were to count up all the times that I use the little train emoji in WhatsApp,
Oh, yeah. Too many.
all the time, constantly. Sometimes it's one train, sometimes it's 3 trains, sometimes it's a train and a rocket towards stars. I love emojis. And for my clients out there listening, same deal. Momentum over everything. What I mean by that is, what's the next domino, and knock it down immediately, because that can knock down the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. And so the goal is not to get it all done in one day. The goal is to knock down the next domino as consistently and sustainably as possible. And here's the thing though, if you're big into learning and you're big into personal development and books and seminars and trainings, I just I just bought a leadership training that I'm so excited about. It's a year long. I bet you I'm going to finish it in a quarter. But I'm constantly learning and feeding my mind whenever I'm doing things around the house, like dishes or cooking or whatever. And so a lot of times my awareness is far higher than what I can get done in a given day. And this is where delegation comes in, but also the idea of like, write down the top 25 dominoes that you need to knock down, and then what are the top 3. And so I have this super simple little system that I want to give to everyone right now. And my executive admins use this. A lot of people at NL use this. My client I talked about earlier uses this. As a matter of fact, many of my clients do. Very, very simple. Kev, I think you do this too. I have Google Tasks is what I use for my tasks. This is about awareness and action. Don't put tasks in a bunch of different places. Big mistake. Put them all in one place. If you have an iPhone, there's a Google Tasks app you can download. It's super simple. Even if you have an Android, obviously that would work because Android's by Google. Okay. I put 2 different lists. It's very simple, but they're in the same place. They're both in Google Tasks. I have my top 3 MITs, most important tasks, and then I have a rolling back burner. The rolling back burner is where everything goes except for the top 3. The moment I do one of the top 3 dominoes, I immediately grab the next most important domino from the back burner and put it to the top. And then occasionally throughout the day, Kevin and I are talking, we're masterminding, I'm with the team, I'm with clients, and I'm thinking of ideas of things we need to implement in our business. We need to improve the website, we need to improve the podcast, we need to do this, order that. I put it on my MIT list, and then occasionally the top 3 becomes the top 7, and then I have to cherry pick the ones that need to go to the back burner. And I actually did that right before this, Kev. And so at any given time, I always have 3 most important tasks that I can go to whenever I have a free moment. And again, whatever your work hours are, you should be knocking down dominoes to build whatever it is that you're building. Even if you're an employee at a company, this is a really beneficial thing. And I don't separate it between work and home. I just have one list that includes, literally book dentist appointment would be on my MIT list.
I have, I'm going to find out whose way is better here. I have what I use, in my opinion, in my expertise, that I currently use. It's some plugin for Chrome. I think you used to have it. It's the one that it gives you a message in the morning. It says Kevin, conquer today. It says, what's one thing you want to focus on today? I think it's called Momentum or something. It's a really cool plugin. The reason I like it is because I don't always have my calendar up. And if I don't have my calendar up, I don't have Google Sheets up. Google Tasks. That's why I switched. But mine's set up very similar to yours, except I do, ever since we did the urgent and important episode, mine is urgent and important. That's the top. And then I order them
nice.
in order of what's the most urgent and what's the most important. So we are basically doing the same things. But yeah, Google Tasks for me just wasn't, because if I didn't open it, it's not there. But the second
you got to do what's good for you.
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah, I figured you support that.
Of course, if you're knocking down dominoes, that's what matters.
Well,
Momentum.
that's my job. Anything you want to add?
No, no, I think that's good.
We're
the question I would,
We're in very giggly moods because Alan and I have been. It's usually we're done by 6:00 and it's 6:05 and we're just recording our first episode of the day. We had some really deep thoughts and talks and awarenesses and money stuff, and it's been a very good day. But now we're trying to finish the day, and this is usually where we get giggly. So that's why I'm a little weird right now.
we're gonna finish strong. The question I would have all of the listeners ask themselves, I wrote this down: how large is your awareness implementation gap? If your awareness is a level 10, are you implementing at a level 10? Or is it 10 and 2, which means the gap is 8, which means you are not taking enough action? Or is your awareness implementation gap a 0, meaning you obviously need to go learn more because you don't know what to do, or hire a coach or a mentor or whatever? And so at all times, this is my belief, if you want to be the most productive version of yourself, aka if you want to be the most successful version of yourself, you're going to have awareness that's beyond your current actions. And you should always have a next task. There should never be a time. I don't think there will ever be a time where there isn't more to be accomplished. And what's ironic about this is that when you set goals, you tend to realize that there's never really, put it this way, there's never a time where you couldn't learn more, or you couldn't exercise more effectively, or you couldn't, love on your family more, or there's never going to be a time it's never all done. No matter whether you're an entrepreneur or not, it's never all done. There's always something you could be doing to be more productive, even if that means R&R, even if that's just intentional R&R. And so check in on your awareness implementation gap, and hopefully you can close it. If your awareness is way higher than your implementation, you probably feel overly stressed because you're not getting enough done. If your awareness is so low that you're pretty much done and kind of bored, then that's something you should look into and get some learning in.
Awareness. We've said this for a long time. Action is the cure-all. Awareness is the precursor to all action. So if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to do it.
Strong work, Kev.
Hey, you too, man. Have a great day. You have a great one.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
As well.
Thanks
you
for coming.
Well.
Next Level Nation, as you know, if you want to see Alan and I live in person doing this, but maybe adding value as well, potentially, possibly, join us Next Level Live 2023, Worcester, Massachusetts. We actually talked to the wonderful Jared. He's the head of the audio visual side of things at the hotel venue that we're using. Last time it was amazing. We had a big screen, we have a stage, we have music and speakers and all this stuff. So make sure you join us. We're planning on having a photo booth where you can get professional photos done.
And a bouncy house.
In a bouncy house, yeah. We'll have a paintball court. We're going to have a zip line and laser tag. And we're going to have bags and can jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to have any of those things. But we will learn a lot, and it's going to be fun. So join us if you're interested.
Also, so this Thursday. So when's this episode dropping, Kev? This is dropping...
Could be any time. Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday. Okay, so if you're listening to this, it's Wednesday. We have a monthly meetup tomorrow night that you are invited to. Join us. The link will be in the show notes. It's 3 big things holding you back from success. And success does not just mean money, health, wealth, and love. These are 3 big things that are holding you back from success. The point of these meetups is to get to know the community, get to know each other, surround yourself with like-minded people. Again, the influences that you have in your life really are going to determine where your future ends up. It's very, very clear. The data is very clear. Join us. You can engage as much as you'd like. Come hang out with us. It's a meetup for a reason. So it's going to be engaging. You're going to learn some things, and you're going to meet the other members of the community.
Next Level Nation tomorrow for episode number 1263, getting over the February. Do you say Feb? Is it February or February?
I think it's February, but I only say that because I want to spell it right.
Yeah, that's how it's spelled. So I'm going to say February blues. So Alan and I were talking about this today. February, I can't say February. Whatever the month is is a very hard month for many people. I know I was going through it. Alan was going through it. Everybody on the team was dealing with something. And I noticed that a lot of people kind of take February off. So we're going to talk about that. I'm not going to say the month many times in the episode because I don't want to mispronounce it. Next Level Nation, as always, we love you, appreciate you, grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans, we have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow about February.
Please reach out.